the fact that I filed that order 18-17440 from Sacramento Court because Magistrate Maria Elena James originally stated that she ordered that I receive a settlement for that case. And then all of a sudden, after she stated that on July 31st, she then sent it to Oakland. And then Oakland sent it to Sacramento, and they said that that wasn't proper venue when some of the defendants that I filed against were in San Francisco. And we're the giants in San Francisco and Sacramento and California and, just a slew of defendants that she originally stated she acknowledged my case because she was acknowledging all the lawsuits originally that I had filed in the Sacramento Federal Court, and that's what it was about, against, Davis Police and, all these civil rights lawsuits, Magistrate Clare stating martial law and stating that I was being denied my lawsuits because of a law that stated cops had no obligation to protect and serve, Williams versus California, from a case 213 CV 2653, and anyways, all of that's in that case as well, and the original case for San Francisco that was denied as delusional from the same magistrate Clare in Sacramento, and just ongoing harassments and a spy breach and all of that shit. She acknowledged, San Francisco Magistrate James acknowledged, stating, get your ADR settlement on July 31st, 2018, and then stated that that's not proper venue.
Okay, so I'm sorry to interrupt you. I can only answer questions about the appeal, like procedural questions or questions about the docket. I can't get into history or
sure. So
or anything like that.
Right. So who was this deciding judges on that?
Judges Clifton, Randy Smith, and Friedland.
Okay. And why won't they tell me the details of why they illegally denied my case?
They don't give details.
How do I obtain those details? Isn't there like a memorandum?
They're just filing an order. They don't have to give details about what reasoning is there or anything. It's just an order on a motion.
But if
an order on the case.
If I'm sending that case to, if I'm filing that case in the Supreme Court, don't I need like a memorandum or some type of statement stating why they illegally denied me?
I don't know what the Supreme Court's requirements are. I can't answer questions for another court. There's the dismissal order that explained why the appeal was dismissed. And this order was just on the motion for reconsideration.
Okay. Can you send both of those to me?
They were both already mailed.
Okay.
Is your address still P.O. Box 72272, Davis, California?
Right. That's one of the mailing addresses, yes.
Yeah. So those orders, the dismissal order from June 27th was mailed to you then, and then this order that was filed October 30th was mailed to you.
Okay, and that was the motion for reconsideration. So I know I have 90 days to file a writ of certiorari for the Supreme Court. So I'm just wondering if there's another document that I need from your court, and in the original, if you could resend that one to me. stating why they illegally denied me in the first place.
Do you not have that order originally?
You know what?
You filed
I
a motion for reconsideration.
you know what I do? I have so many documents everywhere. I was just wondering if you could resend that one to me so that I could um, see that, read that, and also make a copy and send it to attach that to the writ of certiorari along with the ADR settlement document, because I included that in my motion for reconsideration. That document is there. Can you see that?
I don't see that it's attached, no.
To the motion for reconsideration?
Right, I don't see it attached to it.
Okay, do you see it attached to the original brief? Because I did include it.
No, I don't see it.
It says it's a management. It says
That's from the district court. That one's attached to the brief.
okay, good, because it was called a case management filed July 31st, 2018. So you have that?
Yeah, that's from the district court,
Okay.
and it's attached to your brief as an exhibit.
Right, because that is the ADR. That was the order stating for me to receive an ADR settlement. If you read it.
Well, I can't give you copies of a district court order. We don't normally resend copies of our own orders when they were already served successfully on somebody. But I guess I can this one time resend you that June 27th order.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, so I'm documenting and I'm taking down. I need to file some type of complaint against the original judges. And what are their names again?
The motions panel who ruled on the motion for reconsideration were Judges Clifton, Smith, and Friedland.
I see. Okay. And who do I file that to? That complaint?
I mean, I don't know what you're trying to file, like what you're trying to complain about. What did they...
Well, I'm complaining against them obstructing justice because I obviously have a letter there written from the original judge, Magistrate James, stating that I was ordered to be able to receive an ADR settlement for that case. And then she sent the case everywhere and said I filed not proper venue when I not only filed proper venue according to the defendants that I filed against in San Francisco, or including San Francisco, but I also filed pursuant to proper venue. So, I mean,
Okay, well...
they have honestly, they have obstructed every right that I have.
I really don't need all this case history.
Sure.
If you're trying to file a judicial misconduct complaint,
yes.
I don't know that it's valid in this case. It doesn't sound like it's...
well, if you're denying somebody that has already originally been told that to get a settlement in the original case, and then the case is sent to the Ninth Circuit.
I'm trying to answer your question. There's information on our website about filing judicial misconduct complaints.
Okay.
I think they only will receive inquiries or information in writing.
Okay.
So, yeah, the information is on our website about what to do.
Yeah, because that's a complete obstruction to justice what they're doing. And they've done that to all of my complaints. They have filed vexatious and another in Sacramento
So I
when
think
that law
I've
doesn't
answered
even
all of your
apply to
questions.
me. That's a
Okay.
7-year law of I've
So I think I've answered all of your questions, and I really need to take other calls because court is
okay.
going to close soon. So I need to give
Okay.
other people their turn.
Okay.
Okay.
I just
Take
wanted
care.
to ask one more question. Um
Mhm.
as far as courts go, um much of the court, is paid from taxpayers' money. So
Mhm.
I'm curious as to what the determination of using taxpayers' money for committing fraud within the court from court judges that commit deliberate indifference and
Okay. That's
violating
not a question that I can
constitutional
answer, so I have
rights
to go now.
to
Okay. Goodbye.
certain. Yeah. Yeah, that's bullshit. I'm fucking tired of that crap. So I'll be filing my writ of certiorari and 10,000 more lawsuits. Why is it that Stephon Clark can be a felon and receive millions of dollars for his family? Why is it that Black Lives Matters group can receive millions of dollars for their families and they're felons? And some of them survived police brutality. And yet I'm not allowed to even be acknowledged as a human being, to even receive any advocacy for my rights. I'm a survivor of rape, incest rape, NFL abuse from retired NFL Raider Lester Hayes, and police brutality and ongoing harassments and hate crimes and spy breach. Police brutality for risking my life for my black ex-boyfriend during racial profiling, and I'm multiracial and Jewish, etc. I have filed timely administrative claims. I have filed proper application of law for all of my federal court lawsuits. I've been blacklisted. I haven't been able to obtain an attorney. I have been terrorized, lied about, illegally spied on in my own country. And it's all because socialist groups that now run the United States that say, oh, if you don't believe what we believe, if you don't believe that, you know, everybody should bow down to this agenda or that agenda, and you have your own original opinions about things that are not mainstream opinions, such as docking illegal immigrants, stealing resources from impoverished and homeless Americans. And this is the only nation on the planet that puts their people last in their own country and takes care of other people's needs is a crisis. My family has always been in the United States. I'm from a military family that goes back generations and generations and generations, fighting for this country while I'm illegally spied on, terrorized from every broadcasting network and, of course, my phone. And I'm a lawful whistleblower. I'm a lawful whistleblower about things that they are, barely talking about now in at the BBC level. in other countries because we have so much corruption in the United States. They're just starting to unravel the corruption that's happening here. Talking about ELF, mind control, and radiation towers. Talking about the spy breach. Talking about things that are so corrupt. And they can blacklist anybody that they want in the United States, regardless if that person has never had a felony and is a lawful citizen and is a survivor of heinous crimes. They can blacklist that person, make conspiracies against that person, as they did and do to me. I prove with videos, a myriad of videos, a myriad of specific documentation of lawsuits and details, all these things about my lawsuits. And every time they shut me down, they illegally blacklisted me as vexatious and tried to throw sanctions on me after I filed against Davis Police and the Department of Justice. And Magistrate Clare stating cops have no obligation to protect and serve, and that we're in martial law, and that I don't have my right to safety and privacy and justice due process. If I had had an attorney, even though I've studied law for years, and I've filed properly, if I had had an attorney, I would have already won all of my cases. Because that attorney would have made sure that I got some type of advocacy, acknowledging, and publicity for my cases, and would be able to receive some level of respect in a courtroom where they discriminate against pro se litigants, regardless of how knowledgeable a litigant is. I have studied law for years. I file on proper pleading paper, type everything. Everything looks professional. I have thousands of exhibits. I have just miles of paper trails verifying everything that I say is true. And yet they continuously violate my equal protection of rights in my own United States of America, that obviously has no respect or regard for the American flag. I see military flying about my community, frequency flyers, and Good Day Sacramento media and local media of ABC and CBS Sacramento and KCRA 3 and Fox 40 News, all of them verifying that they illegally spy on me and that they are related to criminal cops and their felon family that I reported years ago that have harassed me in my community and were my neighbors. I mean, that's how the police brutality started to begin with, because I reported criminal cops, felon families that were my neighbors, harassing me, doing drug trafficking and hate crimes and And they retaliated against me by first targeting my black ex-boyfriend, racial profiling him. And then because I interceded and defended his life, they tried to kill me, tasering me numerous times, Officer Powell and McNiven, in my own apartment. So they illegally entered my apartment without cause, reason, or warrant to try to kill me in my apartment as retaliation for reporting their family. And they did that, entered my apartment, because originally they were terrorizing my ex-boyfriend that they had thrown to the ground outside from my apartment, whom they were going to brutalize and or kill if I did not intercede for him. That was their original retaliation against me. But because I interceded for him and cited law and all of that stuff is why they tried to kill me in my apartment. And ever since then, I have endured hate crimes and the lawless global movement made from terrorizing my rights, using me as if I were the Henrietta Lack of their scientific experiment of tormenting my brain and violating my rights to privacy and peace and justice and healing. They've used me, putting MK Ultra voodoo on me, NSA algorithms. They use their ELF mind control and radiation towers and frequency flyers. They use the phone to do psychological warfare and mind manipulation. And then they do lying slander codes against me that my community and much of society that wants to be quote-unquote gamers are aware of. And these gamers are riffraff. They're anywhere between socialist groups and felons that they are covering, such as a felon, Rita Fernandez Durgan, who's also a pedo, hired illegally at Legislative Rivas' office, whom I reported Rita and Rita's family years ago. And they allowed Rita to be hired in a law office, a lawmaker's office. Good Day Sacramento, whom covers felon child rapist Ron Herrera, who's related to City of Davis firefighters and DPD Davis Police Zuniga, and child rapist Jennifer Herrera, and Melanie and Monica Coker, and their families and friends, Reyes and Hernandez and Perez, that works at creepy criminal Perez family that works at USDA, and they all work at Good Day Sacramento. And they have felons that are related to convicted murderers, Enrique and Jesus Campos, that killed a Jewish woman and a black teen a few years ago. And they're friends with Ron Herrera's family. They do all of this to violate my equal protection of rights and to run after me. Lawless global movement has promoted NorCal minions such as UC Davis, Hassan Minaj, Cam Country, Dixon's John Party and Despacito writers, and Greta Gerwig and Black Panther director, and a slew of minions and riffraff from NorCal, unprecedented amounts, UC Davis Aggies and Sacramento that keep getting into pro ball teams like, basketball and football and baseball and golf. Unprecedented amounts because of their lawless global movement. It's like if they be quiet about what the world did and does to me, then they can have their dreams. Teamwork makes the dream work. From terrorizing me and my rights. Made from putting voodoo against me and telling the world to go run after me and to go run after their dreams. From a lawless global movement made from violating my equal protection of rights. Ferguson, where Black Lives Matter groups started, that is like nowhere near California. And they got Common and all these New Yorkers and Chicago to come to Sacramento to support Stephon Clark. Why weren't they supporting Brown from Ferguson, where Black Lives Matter is originally started? Al Sharpton, Nick Cannon, Common, rioting in Sacramento for Stephon Clark, who's a felon. They gathered national attention for Black Lives Matter in Sacramento when it didn't even start in Sacramento. And Ferguson is way closer to New York. Why couldn't they riot in Washington? Why'd they have to come all the way to Sacramento? Because they were trying to steal attention away from my ongoing lawsuits. I not only filed a lawsuits, numerous lawsuits, that are completely merited with supporting law, proper application of law, like Amendment 4, 8, 9, 13, 14, Title 6, Bivens Law, deliberate indifference, Canton versus Harris, tolling laws, numerous laws. Promoting my equal protection of rights. They defended Stephon Clark's family, who wouldn't even call 911 when their relative was being shot down in their own backyard, but yet demanded millions of dollars. And then Stephon Clark's brother goes to prison right after for doing vandalism crimes. And then the rioters crashing the black cop's wedding that killed Stephon Clark and vandalizing cops' property. And they still won millions of dollars and promoted a law similar to my Grace's law that I wrote back in 2008. I wrote a law back in 2008, and I've never had a felony. Grace's no taser law about police reform. against police brutality and having police accountability. And they completely ignored my law. I sent it to Gavin Newsom, David Shue. I sent it to numerous officials in Sacramento and lawmakers. All there lobbied my law, all verified with receipts from fax and email and just a slew of paper trails. For years. And then I included Grace's Law in my lawsuits. Stephon Clark not only received millions of dollars for his family from his lawsuits and national support, but they filed with Gavin Newsom to be able to make a law reform against police brutality and excessive force. And that's even with Stephon Clark's family and a slew of rioters promoting only black skin matters against police brutality when a black cop killed Stephon Clark while the rioters are screaming racism because Stephon Clark is black. That was a black on black crime. Oh, look. As I'm speaking, the misuse of sirens. Usually they're far more obnoxious because they tap my phone. All the time. Ongoing lawsuits for years. I've been filing lawsuits ever since 2013 under the 7-year vexatious law that states that a litigant is vexatious if their lawsuits are filed for 7 years or more of unmerited lawsuits. All of my lawsuits